The exploration of outer space is one of the most fascinating and ambitious endeavors undertaken by humanity. Among the celestial bodies that have been the focus of this exploration, the Moon holds a special place in our collective imagination. Over the years, various space agencies and private companies have invested significant resources into the design, development, and execution of lunar missions. Some of these moon flights have been particularly expensive due to the cutting-edge technology, extensive research, and immersive logistical challenges involved. In this video, we'll discuss some of the most expensive moon flights ever undertaken, looking at the costs, objectives, and outcomes of these missions. Number 1. Apollo Program 1961 to 1972. The Apollo program, led by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration or NASA, was a human spaceflight program aimed at landing humans on the Moon and bringing them safely back to Earth. The program, which ran from 1961 to 1972, is undoubtedly the most famous and expensive moon mission in history. The total cost of the Apollo program was approximately $25.4 billion, which is equivalent to over $150 billion in today's dollars when adjusted for inflation. The Apollo program was a direct response to the Soviet Union's early achievements in space exploration, particularly the launch of the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, in 1957. The program was initially conceived during the presidency of Dwight D. Eisenhower, but it was under the administration of John F. Kennedy that the goal of landing a man on the Moon and returning him to Earth was set. The program saw a total of 17 Apollo missions, including 6 successful lunar landings between 1969 and 1972. The most famous of these missions was Apollo 11, which took astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins to the Moon in July 1969. Armstrong and Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the lunar surface, while Collins orbited the Moon in the command module. The Apollo program not only demonstrated the United States' technological prowess, but also served as a powerful symbol of American achievement during the Cold War. Number 2. Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter (LRO) and Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite (LCROSS) 2009. The LRO and LCROSS missions were launched together in 2009 as part of NASA's Lunar Precursor Robotic Program. The primary objectives of these missions were to scout the Moon for potential landing sites for future human missions, search for water and other resources, and study the lunar environment. The combined cost of these missions was approximately $504 million. The Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter is a robotic spacecraft that has been orbiting the Moon since June 2009. Its primary objectives include mapping the lunar surface in high resolution, identifying safe landing sites for future manned missions, and searching for water ice and other resources that could be used by astronauts. The LRO has made several significant discoveries, such as the presence of water ice in permanently shadowed craters near the lunar poles. The LCROSS mission, on the other hand, was designed to search for water ice on the Moon by crashing a spent rocket stage into a permanently shadowed crater near the lunar South Pole. The impact created a plume of debris that was analyzed by the LCROSS spacecraft and Earth-based telescopes for signs of water. The mission confirmed the presence of water on the Moon, which has significant implications for future human exploration and the possibility of establishing a lunar base. Number 3. Changi Program 2007 to present. The Changi Program is a series of unmanned lunar missions led by the China National Space Administration, or CNSA. The program is named after the Chinese moon goddess Chang'e, and its primary objectives include lunar orbiting, landing, and sample return missions. The total cost of the Changi program is estimated to be in the billions of dollars, although exact figures are not publicly available due to China's secrecy regarding its space program. The Changi program consists of several missions, with the first 3 focusing on lunar orbit and landing. Changi 1, launched in 2007, was a lunar orbiter that mapped the lunar surface in 3D and analyzed the distribution of various elements. Changi 2, launched in 2010, was another lunar orbiter that conducted high-resolution imaging of the lunar surface and scouted potential landing sites for future missions. Changi 3, launched in 2013, was a lunar lander and rover mission that successfully touched down on the Moon's surface and conducted scientific experiments. The more recent Changi 4 and 5 missions have further expanded China's lunar exploration capabilities. Changi 4, launched in 2018, was the first mission to land on the far side of the Moon, while Changi 5, launched in 2020, successfully returned lunar samples to Earth for the first time since the Soviet Union's Lunar 24 mission in 1976. Number 4. Artemis Program, 2024 to present. The Artemis Program is NASA's ambitious plan to return humans to the Moon by 2024 and establish a sustainable human presence on the lunar surface by 2028. The program, which is estimated to cost between $28 billion and $48 billion, aims to use the Moon as a stepping stone for future human missions to Mars and other destinations in the solar system. The Artemis program will involve a series of increasingly complex missions, starting with the uncrewed Artemis 1 mission, which will test the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket, and Orion spacecraft. Artemis 2 will be the first crew test flight of the Orion spacecraft, where Artemis 3 will see astronauts landing on the Moon's South Pole, where they will conduct scientific research and search for water ice and other resources. One of the key components of the Artemis program is the development of the Lunar Gateway, a small space station that will orbit the Moon and serve as a staging point for lunar landings and other deep space missions. The program also involves international partnerships with other space agencies, such as the European Space Agency, ESA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, and the Canadian Space Agency, CSA, as well as collaborations with private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. In conclusion, the most expensive moon flights in history have been driven by the desire to explore, understand, and ultimately utilize the resources of our nearest celestial neighbor. These missions have pushed the boundaries of human knowledge and technological capabilities, paving the way for future lunar exploration and the eventual expansion of human presence into the solar system.